It's a dangerous world. Competition is fierce. Every corner of Earth is a battleground. A chemical weapon can be an unfair advantage, with the power to slay the opponent in just one strike. A venomous harpoon, a fatal sting, a deadly bite. But beware the toxic defenders. Make them a meal and die a slow and painful death. In an evolutionary arms race, the world's toxic animals have pitched their poisons and venoms against each other for millions of years, perfecting and refining their lethal concoctions, concentrating death into a single drop. Hiding under the sea floor, lurking in the dark crevices of the earth, and scuttling through the undergrowth. These are the world's most toxic animals. Earth's forests teem with life. With moisture, cover and a moderate climate, they provide the right conditions for more than half the world's plants, animals and insects. With so much competition, many species seek to gain advantage over the others with a potent poison or venom. And with millions of years to evolve the perfect chemical concoction, even the smallest forest dwellers can take down their opponents with a single toxic drop. Close to the coast, the temperate forests of southeast Australia provide just the right climate and habitat for one of the planet's deadliest spiders, the Sydney funnel web. One drop of its venom is toxic enough to kill a human in 15 minutes. It dwells in bushlands and gardens, sheltering between rocks or logs in a burrow lined with silk. The web is distinctive, a funnel-like entrance created by a mass of irregular silk trip lines. Even the lightest footsteps across this elaborate booby trap are sure to be detected. Just below the rim, a female funnel web spider lies in wait. Her front legs on the silk strands, on the alert for tantalising vibrations. Home delivery has arrived. The cricket is taken down into the spider's den, a dark, damp lair from which it will never return. The females rarely leave their burrows, but the males will hunt outside when it's humid, and they'll eat almost anything they can kill. Even though the female is larger, the male funnel web is up to 6 times more venomous. Only the male has been known to kill humans, and he's most dangerous when on the prowl. Rising up into a strike position, the spider bites with a force powerful enough to penetrate a human fingernail or an insect's tough exoskeleton. Most spiders have fangs that point inward so they can use them as pincers while they bite, but the funnel web has parallel curved fangs that are hollow. Connected to 2 venom glands, they pierce and inject at the same time to deliver an extremely complex and potent concoction. Neurotoxins produce a rapid effect on the nervous system, disrupting the cells that coordinate bodily functions. Ambushed and overpowered, a cricket is quickly neutralised. The funnel web toxins have evolved specifically to kill insects and cause rapid paralysis. But over time, the male venom has modified, not just to target prey, but also potential predators, like lizards. During mating season, males emerge from their burrows, lured from their lair by the desire for a mate. Their wandering nature puts them more at risk of becoming a meal themselves, which is thought to be why they have more potent venom. They do their best to find a female out in the open, trespass into her den, and there's a high likelihood of being eaten. Mating is a highly risky act for the male, even out in the open. If his courting moves aren't successful, or if he doesn't escape quickly after copulation, he may still end up as her next meal. He quickly transfers his sperm packet and beats a hasty retreat. Lucky to be alive. The Sydney funnel web spider is found in a 100-kilometre radius of Australia's most populous city. Like us, they like to live near water. As they hunt for a mate, males may wander into the domain of humans, under garden equipment or into homes. Funnel webs will die after a short time in direct sunlight, so they're drawn toward humid and dark hiding spots. When cornered, the spider is ready to defend. It often strikes repeatedly, envenomating multiple times. And in an unfortunate evolutionary accident, both insects and primates are extremely vulnerable to male funnel web venom. It contains a neurotoxin called robustoxin. It works specifically by causing nerves to constantly fire across the body. First signs are pain at the bite site, then tingling around the mouth and headache, progressing to sweating and muscular spasms. A racing heart combined with respiratory distress can be a deadly combination. The most dangerous place to be bitten is the torso, where no tourniquet can be applied, and where death is almost certain. Somewhere in tropical Asia, an equally fearsome but much bigger predator makes its way silently and quickly across the leafy jungle floor. A king cobra, the world's largest venomous snake. This is a phenomenal serpent in size, reaching up to 5 meters in length. When confronted, they can lift a third of their body off the ground, allowing them to look a person in the eye. It's not a glare for the faint of heart. But today's target is much lower to the ground, a reptile much like itself. The king cobra is a cannibal. It feeds mainly on other snakes. And the meal in its sights is a rat snake. The king cobra has excellent vision, capable of spotting prey up to 90 meters away. The rat snake has nowhere to go as the cobra closes in. It has 2 short and sharp upper fangs which act like delivery tubes for the venom. While it's not the most potent of snake venoms, what it lacks in potency, it delivers in volume. One injection contains enough neurotoxins to kill an elephant, or 20 humans. It contains an especially powerful peptide toxin which blocks the body's ability to control muscles in response to signals from the brain. The rat snake does its best to defend itself, but its bite has little effect on the king cobra. Even multiple hits to the face don't deter its attacker. The rat snake isn't venomous, and even if it was, the cobra has a special protection. It's evolved a genetic mutation that makes it immune to the neurotoxins of other snakes. Their venom is unable to latch onto receptors on the cobra's cells, allowing it to subdue its prey without fear of life-threatening retribution. It's a ferocious battle. After several envenomations, the rat snake finally succumbs to the cobra's toxins. A slight shift of position, and the cobra begins swallowing the entire reptile, head first. Eating an animal this long could be a challenge, but the cobra's digestive tract is a long tube, much like its body shape. And the rat snake is a perfect fit. As the tail disappears, the king cobra has once again proved it's king of the snakes. Despite being known for such bold attacks on its own kind, the king cobra is shy when it comes to humans. It will only bite when cornered or provoked. When that happens, unfortunately, humans have no magic mutation that makes them immune. If bitten, death can come quickly, in as little as 30 minutes. King cobra venom contains peptides and proteins that target nerve cells, blocking the response of muscles to neurotransmitters that normally signal them to contract at the diaphragm. The result is respiratory paralysis and eventually death. The only way out is quick access to antivenom or artificial respiration till the effects of the venom wear off. Toxins are a powerful weapon of assault, but they work equally well in defence. While venomous animals must inject their toxins, poisons need only be touched, inhaled or ingested to cause effect. The rain-soaked jungles of South America are home to one of the most poisonous animals in the world. It's an amphibian that's famous among the locals. And it's as deadly as it is dazzling. The poison dart frog. Like bright, shiny jewels set against a backdrop of jungle greens, different species of the dart frog are found in an array of bright colours and patterns. Bite-sized and an easy catch, the frog would naturally be on the menu for many predators. But in nature, these electric hues often serve as warning signs for dangerous chemicals on board. The poison dart frog is no exception. Their toxin is so deadly, they were once used by local hunters to make their arrow tips poisonous. Hence the name, poison dart frog. The golden dart frog of Colombia is just 2 inches long, but has enough poison to kill 10 humans. The frog doesn't make the poison itself. Instead, it extracts and concentrates the key chemicals through the beetles, ants and other small invertebrates it eats. It's thought the poison dart frog hunts like other frogs by drumming or toe twitching. These small little movements are irresistible to prey species. And they have another trick to reel them in when they do appear. long, sticky tongues. But any attempt to eat or even lick one of these pretty frogs, and they'll sweat poison, releasing a lethal, frothy mouthful from glands on their back. The secretion contains toxin. It can wreak havoc on the nervous system, even when consumed in tiny amounts. Toxin is one of the most potent toxins known, causing paralysis and death. One of its effects is to switch on all the body's nerves, similar to funnel web spider venom. But this poison works on the nerves of just about any species it comes in contact with. Some can be mild, like local irritation. Others cause brain damage, hallucinations, respiratory paralysis, hypertension, seizures, and death. There are many types of dart frogs which carry a range of alkaloid poisons, so the neurotoxic effects can also vary. Those bearing the brightest patterns are also the deadliest. But what is potent poison in the wild can turn out to be life-saving in the lab. Some alkaloids are killers of cancer. Others, such as the molecule epibetadine, may numb pain, being up to 200 times as potent as morphine. If these could be developed in a way that removes the toxicity, they might represent the painkillers of the future. Bright colours in nature serve as such an effective warning. Some animals gain protection through a well-patterned bluff. This is a deadly coral snake, a standout with its bright rings of scarlet, black and pale yellow. But this doppelganger isn't venomous at all. It's a coral mimic snake. Subtle differences in the scales can tell them apart, like the order of coloured rings. But there's enough of a similarity to seed doubt in the minds of potential predators. It's an evolutionary trait known as Batesian mimicry. In Costa Rica, there's a strong selection on predators that avoid anything that looks like a coral snake, because there's a high price to pay for any animal that makes a mistake. And that price is death. Even a mediocre mimic is likely to escape harm. So it's a perfectly evolved disguise. One that works very effectively on the normally curious coati. The coati is a little like a raccoon, with an unusually long nose that helps it find prey under rocks, including small snakes. But the coral snake mimic is not deterred. It presses on. The moment the coati spots the brightly striped traveller, it makes a dash in the opposite direction. Even in areas where the venomous version of the coral snake has long died out, predators still avoid the mimic, just in case. In the rainforests of Australia's north, a curious and delightful inhabitant goes about its business on a barbed pandanus leaf. This is where the peppermint stick insect spends its life, almost exclusively. It eats the plant, breeds on it, and benefits from its spiky protection. Its body neatly contained within the natural curve of the long leaf. But for nimble hunters that have no issue negotiating such terrain, the insect has a backup plan. Today, a hungry huntsman is in for a nasty shock. It approaches from behind, a particularly unwise move, because just below the peppermint stick insect's head are a pair of directional nozzles. They release a peppermint-scented milky spray that contains chemicals which the insect gets from its food. These are known to be particularly irritating to eyes. And when you have 8 of them, the sensation can't be pleasant. The peppermint stick insect is left in peace to continue its lunch. When British biologists received their first specimen of the Australian platypus, they thought it was a practical joke. With different body parts stitched together from vastly different animals. It has a bill and webbed feet like a duck, a tail like a beaver, a skeleton like a reptile, and claws like a small bear, making the river-dwelling, egg-laying platypus one of the world's most intriguing animals. But it gets weirder. This small and furry conundrum is also one of the few venomous mammals. The venom isn't for predation. The platypus hunts mostly at night using its duck-like bill, which is packed with special cells that can pick up the delicate electric fields produced by prey. Like a sixth sense, they allow the platypus to locate insect larvae, crayfish and shrimp, which are often difficult to spot in murky rivers. So the platypus doesn't need venom to get its meal. Instead, it's used to get a leg up on love rivals. Produced by males mainly during the mating season, the venom is a powerful weapon against other males. A chemical firebomb that yells, "Get lost, she's mine." When they duel, they wrap their legs around each other and jab in with their short hind leg spurs. These crooked daggers unleash a tide of toxic chemicals which can temporarily paralyze the affected limb. If a human is so unlucky to receive a stab from the platypus spurs, the effects can be severely unpleasant. The wound swells and toxins cause a searing, debilitating pain, against which even the strongest painkillers are no remedy. Effects can also include nausea and cold sweats, but the most unbearable factor is the longevity of the pain, which can last days, weeks, even months. But with the platypus most active at night and underwater, focused on its next meal and its love life, humans are mostly safe from their envenomations. Deep in the jungles of South America, far below the forest canopy, a highly venomous nomad is venturing out for a snack. A large, intimidating spider that likes to hide in the folds of giant banana leaves until it comes out to hunt. This is the Brazilian wandering spider. Unlike other spiders, it doesn't spin a web or lie in wait to ambush. It actively wanders its neighbourhood to seek out prey. And this is one walkabout arachnid you don't want to cross paths with. It's one of the most venomous spiders in the world. Red hairs around the fangs serve as a good warning to other would-be predators to leave it well alone. And with a leg span around 15 centimetres, the spider will tackle anything it can sink its large fangs into. It only takes a small amount of venom to kill its smaller prey like beetles or other insects. But the spider is a ruthless and cannibalistic hunter, even taking down large spiders of its own kind. And its powerful venom also works against vertebrates, widening the menu to animals like small reptiles and frogs. Once injected, the venom works to immobilise the victim. The spider can then inject enzymes that break down tissues for easy consumption. Attacks against humans are usually in self-defense, but that's surprisingly common. The spider's habit of hiding in the folds of banana leaves gives the two species a unique and unfortunate opportunity to collide. When a human is bitten, severe burning at the bite site is followed by symptoms like sweating and goosebumps. The venom contains a host of different toxic peptides that disrupt the normal function of nerve cells. This venom is mostly neurotoxic. Effects can range from high or low blood pressure, a racing or slow heartbeat, and dizziness, convulsions, and excessive sweating. But because the spider bites in self-defense, it usually doesn't unload all its venom at once, so serious bites are rare. Grasslands cover about a quarter of the Earth's land surface. To the casual observer, they may appear barren. But these prairies and savannas can be surprisingly rich, sometimes supporting as much biological diversity as rainforests. They provide critical and unique habitats for some of the world's most intriguing and toxic animals. The plains of sub-Saharan Africa are home to a particularly venomous inhabitant. The black mamba, the fastest land snake in the world, and one of its deadliest. Racing through the grass with its head more than a metre high, it's a truly terrifying sight. When they sense danger, they head for cover, towards thicker vegetation. A gaping, inky black mouth and a flared neck is a sure sign of a threatened mamba. And a good reason to back off. But despite being a nervous, skittish snake, the black mamba will usually only attack when cornered, preferring to use its speed for escape. Like most cold-blooded creatures, the black mamba is active during the day. Each morning and afternoon, it can be found basking for several hours in the sun. But this mamba isn't looking for a branch to rest on. It's spotted lunch, the warm-blooded type. Tasting the air and the presence of its fat and furry neighbour, the reptile inches closer. Its grey scales are well camouflaged against the bark. As the rodent is distracted, the snake seizes its opportunity. Black mambas usually strike several times in succession. Their venom acts fast, especially on a small mammal like this one. The adult mamba carries about 12 to 20 drops of venom per fang. Just 2 drops can kill a grown human. The mamba's venom contains peptides and proteins that stop nerves being able to communicate with muscles, so it results in paralysis. It also contains toxins that can act directly on the heart. Without antivenom, death to humans can come in as little as 20 minutes. And it's a certainty. Without treatment, the mortality rate is 100%. Higher than any venomous snake in the world. In minutes, the rodent has fallen off its perch. As it's slowly consumed, enzymes in the snake's saliva begin to break down the tissues. Within a few hours, it will be fully digested. Not all fast snakes are active hunters. Across the other side of the world, the Australian death adder moves silently across the leaf litter. It's looking for an ideal location to curl up and wait. The death adder is an ambush predator. And despite a short, stumpy body, it's one of the fastest known striking snakes. When it finds the right spot, it lies very, very still, coiled like a spring. It can remain in this position for days, waiting patiently. When the right kind of meal appears, it begins to move. At first, in a barely perceptible way. Flicking like a little worm or tiny lizard. Its tail works deceptively to lure in other would-be predators. A lizard has fallen for the ruse. The adder's tail keeps twitching and swaying in a tantalising display, while the rest of the snake remains frozen. The death adder has the longest and most mobile fangs of any Australian snake. They inject a highly potent venom, and the neurotoxin quickly paralyzes the lizard. The snake waits for the animal to die before eating it whole. Most Australians will never see a death adder in the wild, even if they walk right past it. But if the snake strikes, death is on the cards. In humans, the effects are slow and take hours to appear, but eventually the venom can cause voluntary muscles to become paralysed, leading to respiratory failure. Other symptoms include abdominal pain, headache, drowsiness, and the enlargement of lymph nodes. And before antivenom was developed, around half of all people bitten died. Living up to its name, the death adder remains one of the most venomous snakes in Australia. Australia is known for its highly toxic array of species, and even the smallest don't disappoint. Reaching up to 4 centimetres in length, the bulldog ant fears no intruder. Its large compound eyes give it excellent vision. They're dwarfed only by its enormous jagged pincers. Even though they look painful, the business end is at the rear. Inside is a stinger waiting to be unleashed, and it's loaded with venom. It's closely related to the venom found in bees, but the ant can sting multiple times and in swarms. And several people have died from the effects, making it the world's most dangerous ant. Any creature that wanders into the bull ant's path is sure to feel its effects, which are both unique and severe, as this unfortunate centipede is about to discover. As the ants latch on with their pincers, they curl their barbless stingers into the victim. The ant's venom has a basic, brutal effect. It punches holes through the surface of every cell it comes in contact with, killing them. This effect is called cytotoxic. It's toxic to all cells. This makes it perfect for killing insect prey and causing strong pain when injected into any mammal unfortunate enough to be wandering near to the nest. Against a persistent mob, Even the many legs of a centipede are not enough for a fast getaway. The animal is flipped over for better access to the soft underbelly. As the venom takes effect, it drains away any fight left in the centipede, who is swiftly carried away. Adult ants are restricted in what they can eat by their thin necks. They favour sweet and sticky meals like honeydew on leaves, nectar, seeds and fruits, but their larvae are carnivorous. Fresh kills are carted off into the nest to feed their growing brood and expand their army. The nest can extend several metres underground, and eggs and larvae are stored in special chambers off the main tunnel. They're the product of a single ant queen whose primary task in life is to reproduce. As she pumps out eggs, the rest of the workers tend to her needs and feed the ravenous young. The larvae signal their hunger by standing upright and waving their bodies around. They require a constant army of ants on the prowl for more victims. Their main prey is other insects, like this slow-moving beetle, which is easily brought down by a single ant. It will soon succumb to the venom and be fed to the waiting grubs. But even bees with wings and a stinger of their own can become casualties of their endless appetite. While the bee's barbed stinger is a single-use weapon, the ant stinger is barbless and can sting multiple times. Outnumbered and outgunned, the bee is finished off and dragged back to the nest, to be dispatched by the creche of hungry white grubs. Insect carcasses are torn open by the jaws of the worker ants, so the larvae can dive in and consume the contents. Eventually, when they've gorged their fill and fattened up, they spin themselves a pupal case of silk. It's made from small coiled proteins that wind around each other, eventually forming a light and tough case that protects the pupa as it transforms. The metamorphosis takes around a month. As their pincers begin to chew through the case, adults are on hand to assist. The newborn eventually breaks free of its silky cocoon, indistinguishable from its elders except for a lighter coloured body. Armed with a fresh pair of pincers and a new stinger, it's time to join the army. Bulldog ants are extremely successful. They have a lineage that stretches back 50 million years, long enough to have stung a dinosaur or two in their past. The red-bellied black snake is one of Eastern Australia's most commonly spotted snakes because it shares a love of the sun and water with humans. It likes to hang around streams, swamps and lagoons, moving between shady and sunny spots to keep an even body temperature. Today, a native spotted marsh frog has caught the eye of the red-bellied black snake. Its glossy black scales can help disguise the reptile in the creek bed. But with its back turned, the frog is a sitting target. The snake's venom is a mix of myotoxins causing muscle weakness and neurotoxins as well as chemicals that affect blood clotting. Victims can lose their sense of taste and smell, as well as their life. But for the red-bellied black snake, its toxins are a life-giver, delivering another meal and another day in the Australian sun. In mating season, competition for females can be fierce. The males will often engage in lengthy duels, which can last up to half an hour. The bid for dominance can include biting. But luckily, they're immune to each other's venom. The fight becomes more like a wrestling match. Each snake attempts to push the other's head down with his chin. Without limbs, wrestling moves are somewhat limited. In dark, dry corners of grasslands, forests, and the back garden shed, Australia's second deadliest spider lies in wait. The redback spider will live virtually anywhere there is enough food and a place to spin its web. And that often happens to be close to humans. The female is the largest of the two sexes, with a distinctive red blaze across her round, bulbous back. At first glance, her web appears a tangled mess, with none of the symmetry or beauty of a traditional garden spider. But this is a finely engineered death trap. Usually constructed in the habitual pathways that target prey move along. The lower component is designed with a number of trip lines which connect with the ground under tension. And a grasshopper stumbles across one of these gossamer thin strands. Subtle vibrations travel down the trip line, and it's all the signal the spider needs. She's on the move. The grasshopper leaps into exactly the wrong position. The spider turns its back and throws line after line of special sticky silk called swathing silk, which it uses to wrap its prey in, over and over. The silk is incredibly strong and resistance is useless. Once the prey is wrapped and bitten, it's carted off to the upper part of the web, like in a giant shopping bag. As the spider travels, it disconnects and reconnects a series of silk lines to reach the spot where it can settle down and feed. The venom liquefies the insect's insides so that the spider can slowly suck them out. The female rarely leaves her web, but is responsible for most bites on humans, mainly from people sticking their hand directly into the spider's web by accident. It happens with surprising frequency. The redback produces venom in its mouthparts, which it injects through two hollow fangs. Widow spiders like the redback have a secret weapon not found in other spiders, giant proteins called latrotoxins. These special neurotoxic proteins produce a syndrome known as latrodectism, usually characterised by the onset of extreme pain, muscular weakness, nausea, headache, fever, hypertension and vomiting. Since an anti-venom was developed, no deaths have been recorded. When redback spiders mate, it's often the male's last hurrah, because the female eats him shortly after and even during sex. Using the stored sperm, she can lay several batches of eggs over 2 years. After around 2 weeks in the egg sac, around 250 baby spiders will emerge. As they spread across the web, finding food is a priority. And even when newly born, the spiders are merciless. They will cannibalize their own siblings to gain advantage and sustenance. But not every animal avoids the redback spiderweb. Some other arachnids, like the Portia jumping spider, have learnt the tricks of negotiating these death traps. It moves gently across the silk toward the babies without ringing the alarm bell. It's a delicate high-wire act. But for this master of web invasion, the juicy hatchlings are a snack worth the risk. In the grasslands of Africa, an extreme ambush forager is lurking. Many other snakes are more venomous than this one, but the puff adder is responsible for more deaths on the continent than any other snake. It can be found in a wide range of environments, but is rarely spotted. Because unlike other serpents, it doesn't move to escape when approached. Instead, it relies on its marvellous camouflage, which can be so effective that the snake isn't spotted until it's too late. It may puff up and hiss as a warning, but if the warning sign isn't heeded, things can quickly turn nasty. Like other vipers, the puff adder has hollow, long, hinged fangs. When it strikes, they fold out and deliver a painful bite with a deeply penetrating venom, perfect for knocking out a rat. The fast-acting venom contains toxins that upset blood coagulation and punch holes in cells. It's a deadly mix. The tissue necrosis caused by the venom aids digestion, a process already begun before the rat is consumed. Its unwillingness to move and fast strike capabilities can also be a fatal combination for unsuspecting humans. The venom causes swelling almost immediately at the location of the bite, and rapid changes to blood pressure and heart rate. Within 4 hours, the victim can suffer internal hemorrhaging, as well as nausea, fever, and organ failure. Without treatment, death can quickly follow. A critical shortage of antivenoms in sub-Saharan Africa means many health centres aren't equipped to treat the bite. From the forests to the grasslands, beneath the waves and in the dry, baking deserts, venomous and poisonous animals have evolved and adapted to thrive in almost every conceivable environment. With a diverse arsenal, these animals contain toxins refined and perfected across millions of years, concentrating swift-acting molecular compounds into a single lethal drop. But with such a wide range of effects and so many unique delivery systems, which one kills more human beings than any other? The animal that takes this crown is one we don't usually think of as toxic. It's lighter than a feather. Its bite is disturbingly frequent and often goes unnoticed, as it routinely delivers death through its microscopic funnel. The mosquito. Attracted by carbon dioxide in our breath, it's only the female that seeks us out, searching for the red blood cells that give her the proteins she needs to develop her own eggs. Landing on the skin surface, she rolls up a flexible sheath around her proboscis and injects 6 needle-like parts. Two of them use nano-sharp teeth to saw through the skin. Another set parts the tissues, so the fifth needle can pierce a blood vessel. This needle also doubles as a straw, but it's the sixth needle that's the real killer. This drips saliva from the mosquito into us. It prevents blood from coagulating, makes vessels dilate and skin itch. The mosquito's saliva contains coagular toxins, but they're not about to kill you. They only make your blood a little easier to drink. But the saliva can also contain viruses and parasites that kill around 1 million human beings every year. Dengue fever, malaria, Zika and West Nile River virus are all diseases spread by female mosquitoes as they feed on the blood of humans. They kill far more than all the other toxic animals of the world combined. So despite all the fear that venomous and poisonous animals invoke throughout the world, what lives in the wilderness is far less dangerous than the creatures that lurk at home. It's the most exotic animals with their potent and fast-acting potions that are giving us unique and powerful insights into our own biology. It's vital to maintain and preserve this extraordinary biodiversity before we lose the chance to learn from their captivating complexity.